Hey, what's up, everybody, man? You here with Juan Perez. Right now with my boy Royal. I'm straight out of Maryland. We're going, talk about, his journey as far as him, become an artist of the month for East Coast Magazine. So tell us a little about yourself. Where you from?
Um, like I said, Elkton, Maryland.
Okay.
I live in Delaware now, but Elkton, Maryland. I moved all over. I'm a military brat, so I did in New York, Jersey, North Jersey, and yeah, I've been making music seriously for about 4 or 5 years, like
Okay.
full time. Well, for the most part, full time. Um, and it's been a long one, bro.
Well, no, that's dope. That's dope. So I mean, tell me about the journey getting there. Through what it takes, like consistency. Like, what
Yeah,
does it take to actually get to where you at right now?
consistency, patience, confidence, man. Like, I think I don't think people understand like how humbling like creating music
Right.
is. Because you got to think around the people that know you. Like music is for me is like is revealing your most intimate moments, your most intimate feelings, and like like there's a certain like vulnerability with that,
Right.
and like when you're exposing that to the world or your fan base or whatever the case may be, it's humbling but it's scary at the same time. So it was just taking that time to like find the balance of, do I say this? Do I say that? Am I comfortable saying this? Or am I comfortable wording it like this? And how is this person going to feel about it if I say it? Because even if I don't say it directly, they're going to know what I'm talking
So
about.
it's all about the audience, like what you're saying,
For
right?
sure, for sure.
Okay. So like
So,
you think that was the part of like getting supported as far as in knowing somebody really like want to listen to your music. Was that like trying to figure out if people want to listen to your music or
yeah, that's hard too, as far as knowing whether people really like your music or they're
right?
just saying it. You know what I mean? Like, because you have that. There's people that they'll probably like, yeah, I just dropped a song and yo, I heard it, it was fire. Never listened to it. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
So, and as an artist, you have to understand you're spending most of your time and your energy and your money investing in recording a record or buying the beat, which you should be buying the beat, and doing all of these things, and for you want people to hear it, and then a lot of times, especially starting out, nobody hears it. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to give you that criticism that you need to push you to that next level. Everybody's just going to say your music looks good.
right.
So it's been a long journey, just trying to fight through that and find who I am as an artist, and um, just find my lane, what I'm comfortable with, what I represent, what I want my brand to entitle or entail. So that's
Do you think? I mean, do you think that, as far as in some artists need what content to put out, like actually put a good project out, not just
yeah,
half like put half effort, like do you feel like that's what's wrong with the state of the rap game right now?
for sure. I think that right now there's a lot of people just putting out whatever just because it's trending right now, but they don't
Exactly.
understand like once you put some music out, especially in today's days with technology, it lasts forever. You know, you're gonna grow up, even if you don't have kids now, you're gonna grow up and you're gonna have kids, or your mom's gonna hear it, or if you become successful, or your family's gonna hear it, and you don't want to start the wrong trend. You don't want to start, like, I get it, it sounds cool, like some of the people talking about taking drugs or whatever the case may be. I get it,
Right.
but at the same time, you also got like music is powerful. I think music is a lot more powerful than a lot of people think, and creating that message and finding that, because you're either gonna die behind it
Right.
or you're gonna overcome it. So if you're talking about drugs or whatever, talk about overcoming it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't glorify it and bring your fan base. If you have a million people following you, he said it's cool, so I'm gonna try whatever drug it is. You know what I mean?
So
So
basically, always know like there's people gonna be watching
for
you,
sure.
and you got to be a role model for your audience. Is what you're saying, right?
And especially me, I have a lot of kids. I do a lot of middle schools, high schools, so I have a lot of children
Right.
that follow me. Like, I do the clubs, I do the strip clubs, I do all of that,
Word,
but
word.
there's certain things that I won't put in a record
Right.
just because I know what audience I cater to.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I enjoy the same things a lot of people like, but I also know like there's a fine line, and it comes into finding your sound, your fan base, and then catering to that rather than just following a trend. Because you can have your fan base and be relatively unknown, but you go do a show and pack out 1,000 people, no problem. You know what I mean? And if you're not signed to a label, that's a big bag for you.
So what do you think your like, Muslim music, what audience is your target audience, for the most part?
My demographic is, I would say 13 to about 30.
About 30?
Yeah, that's my target. Obviously, I would say more women because I do have more of a.
Shout out to the women.
For sure.
Shout out to the women.
I do, like I said, I'm vulnerable with like my previous relationships and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I talk about my relationships. I talk about the woman in my life or whatever woman I'm dealing with, and I'll even go back to however my ex made me feel 10 years ago, kind of like a Drake style or whatever, but with my own twist. And it's just, my music is 100% my life. Like whatever I'm saying, I went through. I'm going through that emotion now, or I went through it. There's not one tad thing that is not relatable to me. So yeah.
So basically, like, your music tells a story.
For sure.
So everything you tell music, it's something that you actually went through that is actually facts.
For sure.
As you can see from many artists that actually help them, be successful.
Yeah.
So I see, like, it's telling the facts, telling about your story. That's why a lot of people are like entertained by it, because you're actually telling, where you come from.
Yeah.
And that gives like the motivation as well too, that you go overcome it.
Absolutely.
Is that like what you're aiming at?
That's exactly what I'm aiming at, because I do write for other people as well. So I want people to, when they listen to a project from me, regardless of whether it's a club song or whether it's a deep storytelling song, you're gonna know, regardless of how it sounds, that's a fact. You know what I mean? Like, and it'll make you, regardless of whether you like the sound, whether you like the beat, it's gonna make you respect the music. As far as, at least he's telling the truth. You know what I mean? Like, even if I'm dealing with a woman right now, and I make a song talking about the woman that I dealt with previously or whatever, it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's honest. It's true. And when like, the people around me that's closest to me know that's how I vent. So, like, that's how I release a lot of what I'm going through, because I'm so quiet, because I'm like introverted. Like, music is the only time where the closest people to me don't even know until I put it on the song, and they're like, damn, like, you really went through that. So
you need to turn it to a hit.
That's what I try to do.
That's
what I try to do.
So I know you was telling me, that you also, produce as well, don't you?
I'm trying to. I'm trying to
produce as well.
work with that. Yeah, I do write.
Look, he write his work.
My pen works.
Yeah, his pen work right there, huh? Yes, sir. For sure. So when did you know that, all right, like, I could actually take my career to another level? How what rap game is for me?
I did a cover to a Drake song. It was From Time with Janae Aiko.
That's a hit.
And I did it, and I put it out. I did the SoundCloud thing, and it kind of like elevated. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the people that I never thought would listen to me were like sharing it, reposting it, and then sending me private messages about it. And obviously it was a true story, so it had me in a vulnerable time. It was in a vulnerable time, and like, just looking at the reception of it, that's when I started, like, maybe I'm on to something.
That's dope. So what was like the most, like, your cover about, though? Just like in the situation.
So
no. So you can take the jungle part.
It's all good. I was going through a divorce at the time, right?
Okay.
I got married super young, and I was going through a divorce, and then I started dealing with another girl, and then I was introduced to two, and my mind was just everywhere. And there's two verses to the song, and the first verse I'm talking about the girl that I kind of moved on with, and then the second half is talking about the other girl that I was introduced to and I had feelings for, and the feeling was the same, but because this new girl was in the middle, like, we had that mutual respect not to try each other. So, but I always, like, like I said, this is how I release.
Yeah.
So I needed to get that out some way, and I wanted her to hear how I felt because she knew, but I wanted her to hear it and it be a safe conversation. So I chose music. So,
That's dope. As you can see, like the culture, is elevating. Where now, people are turning their interest into, songs covers that, going from a relationship
for
or
sure.
through a breakup. I think that draws a lot of attention because, I think the audience that you're going into, a lot of times, the relationships, like everything we go to, during that time, between 13 and 30 is when, you're trying to find yourself.
For sure.
Also trying to find, what woman you're into and the relationship that you're into. So, I think that's dope overall. Is it still like get access to it though? Like,
absolutely.
Where at though? So
it's on SoundCloud now.
It's on SoundCloud.
Yeah, it's on SoundCloud. It's like it's a cover, so I can't officially release it. I don't own the beat. And again, like I said, buy your beats. But yeah, that's it, man. It's definitely on SoundCloud, and it's like at the beginning of my journey, but so obviously the quality is a lot different, but the message is still the same. You know what I mean? And like that's one of those records that I can go back, and that was 4 or 5 years ago, listen to and be comfortable with it. Like listening to it, like I can listen to it and be proud of it because like it was just a genuine emotion. And that's when I make music, I want to be able to wake up the next day and say, like, I like that.
Yeah, I like that track.
Yeah, I won't put out music just to put it out. You know what I mean?
And I would say, so would you say, you becoming famous, you got to present a message. This thing is always important to present a message.
For sure.
Trying to get into, the music industry.
Yeah, you have to have like a story to last. Right. Anybody can get hot. Like there's certain secrets to the industry and how it works.
Right.
So whereas like I don't know if this is not a secret, but it's like one of those untold things. Like whoever has the biggest bag is gonna blow. You know what I mean? Like there's certain marketing avenues that you do this, you're out of here. And you can be hot for the moment, but if you don't have something to like that substance, then you're just gonna fade away. It's just like being hungry. Like you can make a quick. You're hungry right now, right? And you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to Subway. I'm gonna get a sub real quick. That's gonna fill you up for the moment, correct? But an hour from now, after you go play ball or something, you're gonna be hungry again. Rather than taking the time and preparing the actual meal and going to mom's house and waiting that hour or 2 hours for it to be done, then that's gonna put you to sleep or whatever the case might be. You know what I mean? It's gonna fill you up, and that's where I feel like musically I'm at. I want to come across with a message that way. Whatever trend music is going next, like that message still holds true. You know what I mean? Like you can overlook a gimmick. You can't overlook like a message because that message is going to be forever. It's timeless.
Right. Once put out there, it's timeless.
For sure.
So do you feel that's like the downfall for like new artists? Because a lot of new artists, they put out something, they hot one summer or hot specific season, and then next year you like, what happened to them? Like,
yeah.
Do you think that's like the downfall for like plenty of artists because they just be trending at that moment?
They're trying to follow a wave and they're not like truly themselves, and they're chasing the bag too. Like I see it a lot. Artists will get some traction and they're in a club every week. You know what I mean? They're getting a bag. It's not like they're just spending money. They're getting some money. But at some point, when do you stop? And I was signed before. So, and I fell into that trap. Just I'm going to every club trying to get whatever little bit of money I can get. And then you step back a year later and the label's like, where's your album? It's like, oh damn, I didn't even start recording. Yeah.
Every club, every weekend.
And I'm not the person that can just create whatever kind of music just because. I need to go through something. I need to feel it. Right. You know what I mean? So I didn't gain success or traction on my end until I stopped doing it for the money. And it sounds backwards, but I had to become financially stable on my own to where I chose to do this. It wasn't like I was chasing a lot of people in it are trying to do this because they want the $1 million. They want the new Benz, or they want the new Rolex, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like I did that independently. You know what I mean? So now that I'm doing it on my terms. When I walk into these label buildings, I say, okay, we're going to do this, that, and the third. If we can't do that, it's cool, because I know now that I've been doing it for so long, and I made my connections by being genuine and being a stand-up individual. I can go send my records to radio and get it blown up. I can go put it on BET and Revolt and MTV, and it's all connection based. It's all you being who you are. I'm not saying you have to be like a holier than thou, but just be a good individual and stand for something, and that includes your music. So, the state of hip hop is just, I think it's good and bad. But we definitely do need to get out of that just following the trend, and everybody just, if you just be true to you, like you'll go so much farther. But obviously, with social media and the labels wanting to get clicks and rates and all of that, they want you to bug out and do certain things. So it's just fighting against the system.
Word. So what artists you think up and coming right now? You think is here to stay? Actually going, we got the Gunners, we got plenty of artists that right now are doing their thing. What artists you think right now that's really hot right now that's is here to stay? Not no one that's here to stay for the most part.
I wouldn't say he's new, but he's starting to gain traction. Joyner. Joyner Lucas.
He is tough.
Yeah, for sure.
Tough.
I think the Dreamville camp, they have some talent there.
Over there, right?
It just depends on.
Have you ever came in contact with them or?
Nah, not Dreamville. No. I came in contact with a lot of people, just not like the JIDs and all that. Nah. But up and coming, yeah, I would say them. It's hard to tell because I don't want to say people are not going to stick around. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to do that.
You might put that on somebody.
But yeah, but when you hear something, if it's a trend or if, like, hey, this person has talent and like they're in their own lane, like regardless of whether you like it, you have to respect somebody that's true to them. Like even the what's it? Like Joyner, you know what I mean? Like everybody doesn't like people want to go to a club and party. They want to hear the trap. They want to hear the baby come on. They want to hear the Gunna. Nobody really goes to a club and say, "Yo, can you play Joyner?" But lyrically, he's just an animal. People respect him because lyrically he's a monster, and that's what I mean. It might not be the popular thing right now, but that message is always going to stay true. So 10 years from now, you hear a Joyner record, you're going to be like, "Yo, that boy went off." Just like now, you hear a Tupac record, that's 20 something years later. And
that's one of my favorite rappers.
You get what I'm saying? So it's just finding those artists that have that message, and if you stay true, there's a lot. There's probably a lot. I don't know all of them personally because like I'm kind of secluded to the artists and the groups that I'm currently surrounded with. And like I said, we're getting ready for the tours and all of that. So like that takes a lot of focus, but there's definitely some talent out there for sure.
Top 5 rappers right now you think in the game, in your opinion?
That's currently like right now. I would say no order, Cole. Kendrick, even though he's like on a hiatus, you still can't like ignore him.
He come right back.
I'm biased, but obviously for me, Drake.
Okay.
Man. Who else? Meek. I like Meek because he's talking about something. That 5th spot.
Solidified.
I don't know. It sounds weird, and it's different just because I know what's coming. But I think Ross is about to surprise a lot of people too. Rick Ross.
Really?
I think he's gonna surprise a lot of people.
It's crazy, yo, man. Like growing up, I used to music at Magnificent. We played Mafia music.
Yeah.
Like, yo, when I mean he was cool, like he was. You know what I mean? If we get that Rick Ross back, I'm on. I'm with it too. You think that Rick Ross is coming back?
Yeah, I know.
That
I definitely think he's gonna.
yacht vibes.
Yeah, he's gonna drop something crazy. But that's just like the current, like who has the cycles right now. You know what I mean? Like that's obviously not all time and all of that, but that's who's like dropped recently and that's about to drop. So I
Right.
probably shouldn't have said
I
that.
can, but I can agree with that, man. They've been doing their thing. I've always been a Ross fan, so I can agree on that. So let me ask you, man. Come on, you're from Delaware. How's it feel, becoming an artist straight out of Delaware compared to a major city where, like, it's New York and many other places. Even though I know you from,
It's hard, but it's gratifying, but it's hard because you don't get that same respect. You don't get that same notoriety. There's a lot of artists from the LA, from New York, from Houston that because they've grown up around such a large community, they have more access to more immediate fans. And from where we're from, like there's just it's so divided because it's so small and everybody's doing the same thing. So sometimes it feels cliquey. So that's where it comes into you have to be comfortable with who you are and just trust in your body of work and your work ethic and just work harder than everybody else. And for me, I don't want to I don't want to outshine anybody. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to compete with people. Like don't get me wrong, I'm a competitor, but my goal is not to say, "Oh, you're rapping, we have to be at odds." Like no, like we can do this together. But coming from a small place, that's usually how it is, dog eat dog. But on the other hand, it's gratifying because when you are on these big stages and in front of these bright lights and in these clubs and you feel like the world is yours, it's like I really did it. Like I got it from the muscle. I didn't take any handouts. I didn't do anything. Like everything I got, I earned. And exactly, that's why I put it on this chain.
Nobody can take that from you, for real.
For sure, you know what I mean.
I feel that, man. So like, does that give you motivation? Because you from Delaware, like, it's more motivated for young artists coming out of Delaware, or just somebody from Delaware period to be like, if he can do it, I can do it. Is that what you trying to aim at?
Yeah, for sure. I go into schools and talk to these kids all the time. It's like and I said it in a song recently. It was like convicted felons are a role model because I have a felony, and I also turn it around. I just got a pardon date for that to get it completely wiped from my record.
Right.
But I appreciate that. But
that's love.
it's something that I'm proud of because a lot of people. I mean, some people glorify it, some people shy away from it. But I don't do either. I just embrace it because I want them to see that you can make a mistake and you can recover from it and you can live an amazing life. You know what I mean? Without it, like I don't want people to make excuses saying, "Oh, okay, I have a felony. I can't get a job. I can't travel the world." No, yes, you can. Your mind is trained to think that way, so it's not going to allow you to push past that. So that's what I preach now is just taking that next step and just telling these kids like, yo, you can have better. No matter what, you can have better. So that's where.
Oh, that is dope for real. So you basically trying like build legacy. So like what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind when it's all said and done?
Just honesty when it comes to music. I mean, in general, but just honesty. You know what I mean? I want music to be pure. I want music to make you feel some type of way when you hear it. I don't want it to just be, oh, it's cool in the club and it doesn't stick with you. You know what I mean? Like I said, artists spend a lot of time and money and resources making music.
Right.
To me, I feel like you should make it count. There's no point of me spending $50,000 recording an album and it just going over people's heads. You know what I mean? Like it might be cool for a moment and then it might die down because there are trends. But when you go back to it a year or two later, I want you to hear that record and be like, damn, I felt that. You know what I mean? So I want you to hear a record and the certain type of records and get the chills no matter when you hear it. And that's what I want. I want my mark to be like, no matter what kind of record it was, he meant what he said and it was 100% true. And anybody that hears it, somebody in my life can verify that. You know what I mean? Because I speak a lot in code, but it has to be true, and that's what I want. I want all music to just be true. I hate like with the passion hearing songs, and it's
Like
just
I used to be this, I used to be that.
yeah.
Nah, but
It's
true
like
story, you wasn't like that, bro.
for sure, for
Right.
sure.
So it's like basically like everything you done, you know, you could back it up. As far as you
Yeah,
can say, right,
for sure.
right. You know, what advice would you give, you know, your youngest self? You know what I'm saying? Coming straight maybe out of high school, or you know,
Hmm.
what advice would you, you know, give your youngest self? You know, as far as in what to expect now, since you know you got everything ins out everything.
Um, don't don't do it for the money.
Do it for the passion, what you're saying, right?
Do it for the passion. You do it for the money, it won't. Like you'll lose every time. You do it because it's genuinely what you love to do, and I did because, like I said, I fell into that trap just chasing money,
Right.
and I got a considerable amount of money, but then where does it go? You know, what do I have next? What do I have to follow it up with? And then you get a certain kind of fan base, and now they're like, okay, what's next? I don't know, guys. I don't have anything for you. Like it's back to the drawing board. These days are like things move so quick. Like people attention spans are so small or short that it's just on to the next. And now that leaves you feeling defeated. So now you don't even want to make music anymore
Right.
because you're like, I don't have anything. I don't have anybody listening to me. And that's humbling. So that's one thing I would have done differently is not chase the money. I would have just kept doing it what I love. But I'm happy with the way things turned out because it gave me a couple years off to go through life and experience certain things that just gave me a new perspective on life, gave me stuff to write about, gave me content, gave me experience, and just opened my eyes to like a completely different world.
Right. And
For
that's
sure,
respect, right? Respect.
for sure,
I mean, hopefully, you know, from this interview, people could take, man, you gotta be consistent. Definitely be authentic. You know, be honest and have a passion for it, man.
for
Definitely
sure.
a passion for it. I'm glad, you know, we happy you have you on board, man.
Appreciate you,
East
man.
Coast
For
artist,
sure,
man. We
man.
got Royal. Man, you had ECM TV.
For sure. This is Royal. Everybody check them out. These are good people, genuine. They show love or whatever, and like I had a great time with you guys.
Appreciate that.
For sure.
So, man, tell me, you know, social media, you know, what, you know, everything, Spotify, all that.
Instagram, the official Royal. Spotify, pretty much everything is the same. Just the official Royal, and just look out soon.
Y'all can
For
get me
sure.
on my DCMO, man, JUANDISCIMO. You got to follow the page East Coast Artists as well. And also you follow my man, you know, for me at Official Royal and East Coast Magazine. All right, ECM TV. Thank you.